Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. XRP is just teasing you. It's just messing around with you. You know, and it may make you feel all sorts of negative ways, but it is absurd, so far as I'm concerned. Just absolutely absurd to think that what's most likely to occur is that XRP will not break out to the upside during this market cycle. And in fact, the XRP market cap chart, which I'll show you, dating back about a decade, shows a positive trend within a symmetrical triangle, which will have to break out one way or another at some point. So I ask you, when it breaks out, given that we're in a bull market, will it break to the upside or the downside? And I will show you the chart in this video, but to me, it just seems like a no-brainer in terms of not what is certain, but what is most probable. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so here is the Nijin Tropic account on social media platform X. Now, this particular account is shared. It's run by the co-founders of Glassnode, which is a fantastic on-chain analytics firm. And so if you're kind of wondering, where might this market top out for Bitcoin, if you want to at least go to a source that you know isn't some sort of wackadoo or fly-by-night individual, you can definitely count on the folks over at Glassnode. And they have a broad range here depending on which chart you're looking at, but either way, if they're even remotely correct, my God, we got some fireworks ahead of us, because if Bitcoin goes as high as they're saying it's reasonable to suppose it might, what that means for altcoins, including XRP, I mean, it's just fire. It's just going to be, it'll be face melt season before you know it, basically. So they shared this chart, Bitcoin USD chart, and wrote the following: Bitcoin. How do we need to study Bitcoin? If we look at Bitcoin in a normal chart, the target in the blow off top seems to be $112,000. However, if we look at Bitcoin in a log chart, we may have $250,000 as a target. Now, I will say, out of all the analysts that I respect and follow, it's almost entirely numbers within that exact range. 112 to 250, yeah, pretty much everybody's somewhere inside of that. So I buy the idea that Bitcoin getting there this market cycle, though nothing is guaranteed, I certainly buy the argument that somewhere in that admittedly fairly broad range is reasonable to suppose is even probable. Yeah, I buy that. Here's a post from chart analyst Jelly. Bears are trying their best to convince you otherwise, but Bitcoin is well on its way to $100,000. Don't get shaken out while Bitcoin chops around above support. Yeah, and so I talked about this in my recent videos. It's been a couple minutes or so probably, talking about what is happening, the degree to which we're clearly in consolidation right now, and how there's no shortage of proof to show that this time is not different. We saw occurrences exactly like what we're seeing right now after Bitcoin hit a new all-time high. It just takes time before it breaks out. Past that, it'll bump up against it. It'll tag the all-time high. Then it'll flutter about sometimes for many weeks or over a month. There's historic precedent for that. So the fact that we're seeing that now shouldn't be surprising. But yes, the idea of Bitcoin this cycle getting to at least $100,000 sounds pretty reasonable. We're going to find out together what happens, but it sounds reasonable at a minimum, right? Here's a post from chart analyst Cryptolica, and it's an XRP market cap chart. And this is the one that I was referencing at the outset of the video, and it shows a symmetrical triangle. So it shows the market cap for XRP going back. This one goes back to basically the beginning of 2017, so better part of a decade here. And you can see the dollar figures on the right. And what do you see within this thing? Because, mind you, so here's what Investopedia explains about what asymmetrical triangle is, which is what is on your screen right here. And even for non-chart analysts like me, someone with a simple little mind like mine, I can understand this, and I know that you'll be able to too. One of two things is going to happen with force. So check this out. They write, a symmetrical triangle chart pattern is a period of consolidation before the price is forced to break out or down. A breakdown from the lower trend line marks the start of a new bearish trend, while a breakout from the upper trend line indicates the beginning of a new bullish trend. Now, I know that's like chart stuff 101. That's like even guys like me who are not in charts, like, we're aware of that, right? So let's put this in real simple terms. That's what I'm doing here. We are in a bull market. What do you think happens on this chart? By the time this cycle's over, what happens? Is it going to break out to the upside, or is it going to break down and make us all a bunch of sad pandas? Well, Cryptolica, with his yellow marks right here, is clearly indicating that inside of the symmetrical triangle, we're seeing a positive trend. At least back to, call it close to mid 2018, maybe the first half of 2018. Look at what it's been doing. He seems to be indicating here that he thinks, yeah, it's actually, even within the symmetrical triangle, it's a positive indicator. So just knowing the environment that we're in, this is a bull run. Like, we're sitting inside a bull run. I know we've been consolidating, and some people, the weak hands out there, some have capitulated. Okay, this stuff happens. It's normal, even in bull mode. Something's going to happen. I just don't believe for a moment that's what is most probable is that one of the most successful, most adopted cryptocurrencies in all of crypto, one of only 3 cryptocurrencies to have always been in the top 10 coins by market cap for its entire existence, is going to sit this one out. It has legal clarity. I understand that it didn't happen the way we wanted last market cycle because of those asshat pricks at the SEC. Of course, I got that. Bunch of no-talent ass clowns. Totally got it. That's not the situation we're in right now. This will break out. And I mean, it's going to happen this market cycle. There's no excuse for it not to anyway. So if we're wrong, because I know that this is what the vast majority of us believe, is that you're going to see a major pop to the upside. If we're wrong, we're going to need to have that come to Jesus moment, have a talk. Is that what's probable, though? I just don't buy it for a second. And by the way, here's the latest on the XRP BTC chart. It is still above the level that was touted by many analysts as likely, though not guaranteed, likely to be the low regarding XRP priced in Bitcoin back here, you can see on March 11th. So it is still above that level. So hopefully, even though it's fairly close to where it was at that point, hopefully it stays there. Now, of course, on a higher time frame, and any analyst worth their salt will tell you this, even if it goes below it, that doesn't mean that that's some sort of guarantee that now XRP is no longer going to play ball for this market cycle. This is just an important chart. Pretty much every analyst under the sun is going to tell you that. And so I'm just watching it. I'm just curious to see what happens. Because I want to know where the analysts right and what they said is probable, that March 11th, roughly speaking, was the bottom. Or is that actually not it? Because at this point, it's been holding for almost a month at this point. So I would prefer that, because it'd be nice to finally see a clean break to the upside. It is fairly close to it at this moment. But we'll just have to sit tight, and we're going to find out together. Nobody knows for sure at this moment. I want to highlight this too. So what's on your screen right now, and I'll read this in a second here. It's perspective from an on-chain analyst here. It goes by the name Checkmate. And he's the lead on-chain analyst at Glassnode. Certainly, like I said earlier in the video, huge fans of Glassnode. And what he says right here, I thought I'd highlight this, just take a couple minutes here, because what he says here, he's talking about Bitcoin, but it absolutely, the concept here, it applies to XRP, and it absolutely, very strongly supports my argument that the outrageous prices of, $10,000 plus for XRP are nothing but fantasy land hopium. And so I'm always going to fight back against that crap. And I've gone into great detail in the past explaining, folks, there is not nearly enough money on the planet for XRP to be worth $10,000, $30,000, $100,000. There's not enough money on the planet for speculators to bid the price up that high. That is not how this works. It doesn't exist. And I showed you the degree to which, if that happened, like the total share of wealth that would be in XRP, and I don't remember the figures off the top of my head, but I went in depth in a video, just shredding the idea here. But here's another way to do it in simple terms without going into that level of specifics. Because this is what he's saying here. It's clearly true of Bitcoin, but it's also true of XRP. And so here's what Checkmate wrote. There was a time when a chorus of Bitcoin analysts were banging on about unrealistic 100x multiplier effects per dollar invested. I proposed it was much closer to 5x and up to 10x only in low liquidity spikes. Since January 2023, the Bitcoin market cap is up about $1 trillion, insane in its own right. The realized cap is up $172 billion in the same period, and ETFs only absorbed about $12 billion, less than 7% of the realized cap change. The realized cap is climbing because old coins are revalued higher, both from GBTC. So of course that would be that's the grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF. That's 30%, but the rest by hodler selling. The 100x multiplier was always bullish, as it assumed no coins were sold. Higher prices create sell-side supply, and forgetting to account for this is a factor that will separate great from not so great analysts this cycle, in my humble opinion. And so I will say, for every dollar going in, if it's a 5x, anywhere from 5 to 10x, which I had said in the past is reasonable, I mean, that's amazing enough. That's some serious profit for each dollar flowing into the space. But at some point, people do sell. So if you think that XRP is going to like $10,000, $100,000, whatever it is, whatever your wackadoo number is, ain't happening. Ever. Not priced in today's dollars. The only way that you could see that, and this is not what people are talking about when they say XRP will be $10,000, if there's runaway inflation, hyperinflation. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the purchasing power of XRP in today's dollars, not a world where a loaf of bread costs $10,000. So no, it isn't ever happening. Clearly. So I thought I'd just point that out. But yeah, if you're talking about XRP getting safely into 3 digits, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it's plausible. There's way more than enough money on the planet, way more than enough for that to happen, for XRP to be worth over $100, $200, whatever, pick a number, that's way higher than today. Yeah, absolutely that could happen. I don't know if it will, but that is totally reasonable to suppose that if XRP is wildly successful and adopted over a longer period of time, yes, that could happen, but not $10,000. It ain't happening, son. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.